How we doing this morning? What was I doing? I was watching something. Well, first of all, I just wanted to mention Bruce Willis. I'm not a big celebrity person. I don't care about celebrities. I've known a lot of them out here, met a lot of them, had conversations with a lot of them, been friends with a few of them. Don't care. I care about them exactly as much as they care about me. But Bruce Willis, man, I mean, I love Bruce Willis. And I mean, the guy was always, I loved every movie he was ever in. He was great in everything he ever did. Always believable, always fun. And now he's suffering, man, right? He's got this thing going on in his mind with his, excuse me. But he's having a problem with even being able to speak. And if you're following along with that, with him, like with Instagram and all that, it's heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time. You kind of, I mean, here's a guy who lived a great life. He's made millions of dollars. So there's a lot of people that, you know, just jealous, you know, so whatever. That's not me. I'm happy for everybody that does well. I don't see life as a competition. I want everybody to do good. So I'm happy that he does good or did well in life. Good for him, man. But this thing, seeing his family around him and everything, the way it's working out, you see like a distance in his eyes, and it's just heartbreaking, you know, to see it. And then I stumbled upon a quick video with Rogan talking to The Rock, and this whole thing of concussions came up. And I thought I would talk about that because I've had a lot of concussions. And I used to fight as well. And also just all the accidents I've been in. I can't tell you about all the concussions because I was concussed. I don't remember it all. I've woken up in the hospital many times. Where I don't, you know, I mean, I kind of know what happened, but I don't know what happened. And it's interesting. And I'll share a couple with you because some of the worst ones that I can recall. I mean, as a kid, I got knocked out a bunch of times. But then I remember in high school, they did like co-ed gym all of a sudden. Our class was like the first class to do that. And, you know, you can't play contact sports with girls, man. So we were playing football. And I don't know exactly what happened, but I made head-to-head contact with this girl in gym class. I think I was in 10th grade or something. And, man, was that right? I could have been older. I could have been a senior. I don't remember what year it was because I was concussed. It knocked me out, man. I was in the nurse's office. I had to go to the hospital in an ambulance. I lost a couple days right there of not knowing what the heck was going on. Of course, in the Marines it happened. What happened to me? Something happened to me in the Marines where I got knocked up. Oh, pugil sticks. Now, I actually didn't get knocked out. I felt like I was out on my feet. And somehow I won that bout. And that was a crazy one because I got hit in the head hard a couple times where, you know, you saw the bug fights in your head. You know what I'm saying? And then I remember when I got out, these are just some of the ones I can remember. I remember I was framing houses in the winter time in New Jersey. And my buddy Bill and I, right, we're partners. It was his business, really. But I was the mechanic, right? I was the guy that always made everything work. And me and Bill were working on this frame. It was a 2-story house. And we had gotten the first level frame the day before. Amazing what two guys can accomplish in the 1980s. It takes a team of 12 guys now 6 months to do. It's ridiculous. Anyhow, it was winter time. It had rained that night and frozen overnight. And the next day we were going to start framing the second floor. So Bill's up on the frame and he's nailing the box around the perimeter on the plates. And I'm down there trying to crack all these 2x10s free in the stack because they're all waterlogged and frozen. So they're super heavy and they have a coating of ice on them. So I'm leaning, you know, I break one free, I walk it over to the frame and lean it on the frame, and then Bill would pull them up onto the frame. And keep in mind, he's hammering away, nailing on the box, and the whole frame is moving, right? There's not a lot of structure to it at this point. It's not skinned, obviously. And I lean one up, I walk back to the pile, I break one free, I lean it up, I walk away, I break one free, I lean it up. Next thing I know, I'm face down on the ground with a mouthful of dirt. I don't know what the hell happened. But what had happened was one of those 2x10s was leaning up against the frame. It's a sheet of ice, frame's moving, and it slid, and it came down and hit me right here in the head. I still have a bump on my head. There's actually a bump you can feel right here on my head, on my skull. I kind of like, I remember like rolling over and spitting dirt out of my mouth, and Bill had already jumped off the frame and was running towards me. Are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know, man. And I can feel this thing swelling on my head. And I go like this, and I had hair at the time, and a lot more hair. So I push the hair up, and I go, how's it looking? You know, and it's funny, because Bill was in the Air Force, you know. You might think he would know better, but like, you know, you're not supposed to panic. You don't want to instill fear in the person who's injured. You want to remain calm so that that person can remain calm. And Bill's response was, holy shit, oh my God, we got to get you to a hospital, because it had turned black purple instantly and swelled. It was literally like the size of a baseball sticking out of my skull. It was crazy, man. That was a bad one. And then one of my favorite ones, and I'll try to remember to I know I don't do this all the time, but I will. I'll insert a picture at the end here, me and my dad. This is a great story, and I'm sure I've told this before. It's one of my fun bonding stories with my father, because my dad went back. He lived in the house he was born in Greece. The house was built in 1913 by his grandfather, who had bought this mountain and created this village and built the first house and put up a church. And he was living in this house with his girlfriend, and it needed a lot of work. And my dad, I don't want to make this a super long story, but he had 8 heart attacks in his life that he never did anything about. But he had one that put him in the hospital, and he called me, and I made some calls, and the helicopter picked him up and brought him to a heart specialty place in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and it saved his life. And that doctor was the doctor that they pulled his heart out of his chest. They did 4 bypasses on the back side of his chest. 70% of his heart was dead meat, didn't even work. And that was the doctor. This is years earlier, before this other incident in Greece. I think it was like 5 years later. That doctor told me, he's like, your dad had at least 8 heart attacks that he never did anything about. And I've got a few stories about that, of him having these crazy heart attacks and what he went through. Maybe I'll share them here. I don't know. It's not that long of a video so far. But anyhow, here I am in Greece. And, well, I'll just tell you one of the heart attack stories. I had this dream one time about my dad, that something happened to him. And I called him the next morning, and he blew it off because he didn't want to concern me, because he could tell I was concerned. And 2 weeks later, we're talking. And he said, you know, because I have this thing. He goes, you and your ESP shit. Because I know when something happens. I just know it. And he told me, he's like, yeah, I didn't want to freak you out, but I was a little scared too. The night that I felt that something had happened to him, something happened to him. And he was driving home late at night, and this is in Pennsylvania, on this windy road up in the Pocono Mountains there. And it was right, there's a river that runs along this road. That's very common, where they'll, they'll do that. They'll build a road right along a river, because it flattens out there, because there's all mountains on the side. Anyhow, he's coming around this corner, and he goes around this bend, and a car comes at him in his lane and cuts him off. And he goes off the side of the road into this little ditch, and the car rolled over on its side. and he has a heart attack in the car. But he breathes and he calms himself down, and after a little while he feels good enough and he climbs out the passenger window. He walks outside, he pushes the car back onto four wheels, gets in the car and drives home. That was my dad. The guy was tough, and I saw him do things. It was amazing. So here we are, we're in Greece, and he comes out of the, the house is made of stone. It's a 3-story house with stacked stone, and there's this courtyard that's attached to the house, and it's all stone. And on the outside of it, there's this plum tree, and it was there since he was a kid. It was pretty scraggly looking, and it had this one kooky little arm sticking up. And he pulls out this, Widowmaker ladder and a rusty hatchet, dull hatchet, and he leans it up against the wall of the courtyard. I'm like, outside of the wall of the courtyard there. Like, what are you doing? So I'm gonna get up this ladder, I'm gonna climb this tree, I'm gonna top that limb up there. I'm like, no, you're not. I'll take care of that. So the thing is that the ladder didn't reach the top of the wall. And the top of the wall, it was a deep wall, and there was actually like a fireplace built into that one section where we'd kill a rabbit and gut it real quick. Out there on that plum tree, there was a little nail. You cut the rabbit's head off, you throw it to the dogs, you gut it, you skin it, you put it in this sandwich grill thing, spread open, and you stick it in the fire in the courtyard, and 15 minutes you're eating fresh rabbit. From the moment it was grazing in its little cage, 15 minutes later you're eating fresh rabbit. Delicioso. So, which is not Greek. Anyhow, the ladder didn't reach the roof, and the roof was only it was probably about 4 feet, but it was rows of those those Mexican pavers, those terracotta tiles. So I get up on the ladder, I grab the tree, I get up on the roof, I get back in the tree, I top the tree limb, I come back on the roof, and I realize I can't get close to the edge of those tiles because I'm risking stepping on them and cracking them. So I think to myself, well, there's a limb here. If I grab this tree limb and use it to support my weight, I can jump out, right, with my knees and my chest, and then extend my legs as my body comes back down, and my heels will hit the ladder. I can find the top of the ladder and then get down, because I don't want to crack these roof tiles. And my dad, and it's concrete down there. It's all poured concrete. Maybe I'll include a couple pictures that show that. And my dad is, he's standing there looking up at me, right? He's right there, right underneath me. Well, I grab the tree limb, I swing out on the tree limb, and I start to extend my legs, and the limb rips off the tree. Now I'm in the air. I hit the tiles with my head, because I'm going out, right? I hit the tiles with the top of my shoulder and my head. I come down, I hit my dad in the chest, full weight, both feet in his chest. He gets knocked out cold instantly, hits the concrete. I come down. When I had hit the tiles, they broke, and one of the tiles came down and comes down, and it hits me. I land in the concrete, then a tile comes down. These things are thick, man. They're like this long, they're thick, they're this wide, they're this long. They gotta weigh a couple pounds a piece, right? The thing comes down, hits me right in the skull, cracks my friggin' head open. I got blood on my face, blood in my eyes. I don't know it yet, because I'm out cold. I don't know how much time goes by, probably not very long, but my father and I both, we come to, we regain consciousness at the same time, and we're on the ground, and we look at each other, we do our checks, our mental checks, and we roll up, we look at each other, big smiles, and we both just start laughing, and it leads to this crazy conversation of all the times that we've been knocked out cold. And apparently this runs in the family. We've all had multiple concussions. And I fought. I did a lot of stuff. I did the taekwondo thing and a little kickboxing and all that. And my uncle was a Golden Gloves boxer, and he was coming over the house all the time and punching me in the head when I was a kid. But I know that something goes on in my brain from time to time. I definitely have a problem with recall. I have these pains sometimes Like it's a sharp pain in my head. Like somebody's taking a needle into my brain and just stabbing me in the brain. It doesn't last very long, but it can happen at any moment in time. It happens sometimes in a conversation with people, and people just see me grab my head and like, and I have to breathe through that pain. I don't know if that's part of it, but it's not a good thing. I'm always a lot of motorcycle accidents, man. Just and out cold, waking up in the hospital, you know, barely remembering what happened, and other job things, other falls, that sort of thing. So I don't know, man. I hope I'll be okay. It's not like I was a professional football player, you know, getting knocked out in practices all the time or anything. But there's been many, many, many times I've been knocked out. So I don't know. We'll see how this works out. It concerns me a little. So that's it. That's my concussion story. Take care of yourself. You know, you should just wear a helmet 24/7. Have a good day. Be kind to one another. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye. So on those pictures, the picture of me and my dad sitting next to each other, and I got the bandana on my head. That was right after the incident happened. So there's a bandage on my head, and I put the bandana on, and that's us having a beer afterwards. And then there's pictures of the house there. You can see the structure, and there's a picture, probably not great pictures. They're off my Facebook page. But there's a picture of my dad standing there in front of the place, and you'll see the plum tree off to the left, your left, when you're looking at the picture. And that's where the whole incident took place. So, yeah, kind of funny. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, have a great day. Be good to one another. I'll catch you in the next one.